Hello, and welcome back to the definitive Starship Review series without access to a proper table. Oh boy, I'm getting Starbase 1 flashbacks. Where today we are taking a look at Tycho Core, the Klingon space station, of course named after the Klingon name for Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. Now, I was getting ready to sit down. I think the poll referred to this as well, what I've called the station that Eaglemoss invented, as all I remember when this was announced was how wrong it was, how it was like totally not screen accurate. It was like a background blur of a background blur. And we have like one picture of the studio model, and it obviously didn't look like this. But I couldn't remember exactly why it didn't look like this. I think it only had like two of these things and didn't have this, and like basically everything was wrong. So before filming, I sat down at my computer, I went to Memory Alpha, looked up Tycho Core, and it basically looks exactly like this. The picture of Memory Alpha was very clear. You do very clearly see the station in the episode. It does have three things. It does have this kind of painting, I think. Well, no, it had the red lettering. Like, they did take some liberties. Most strangely, this whole back thing right here very clearly is not a part of the station. This whole arm. There's something painted on here. In the studio model picture, you can see where it's sitting in the box. This very clearly does not exist. Even, right, in the picture on the magazine Eaglemoss made, the arm very clearly does not exist. It's just not there. They just added it because I don't really know why. You know, there's some other liberties, like the top doesn't quite look like this, and the bottom... Actually, I think the bottom's pretty good. You know what? Actually, the top and bottom match the picture, but I remember the top being a bit more like the bottom when I looked online. But yeah, definitely some liberties, but actually, broadly speaking, this is Tycho Core Station, and you could, like, cut this off, sand it off, I mean, if you were real skilled. But no, it's just, yeah, that arm is weird. But, I suppose I thought we were getting back into Eaglemoss model reviewing for a bit, because this station, well, doesn't exist in Star Trek. But actually, I guess we can review this station, more or less. Although we do, of course, have to recognize the Eaglemoss differences. So, yeah, Tycho Core Station is a Klingon station from the Dominion War, that I honestly only know because of the Eaglemoss model, as is the case for some of these. It's got an earlier Klingon-esque feel, what with these big jutty things, these struts, these support struts, you know, I don't know actually what purpose that really serves in space. Like, you're not really accelerating, there's no strain, there's no gravity. It does kind of have an earlier, dingy Klingon look, almost prison-esque, but like it's got way too many docking ports for that. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit utilitarian, kind of mucky, dirty Klingon-esque station. It works. It does the job. It's big. I don't think it's too big for a station. It's probably just about as big as it needs to be. Especially when consider these docking ports are basically just long hallways, you know? Just the ships don't dock directly to here. They got a bit of space because they're big ships. But yeah, every one of these arms has got little Klingon logos and something written in Klingon. It's all the same thing, actually, on... Oh, both sides. I thought it was just one side. Pretty bland on my model, just looking in there. Maybe blast shield doors if we want to be generous. It's a weird docking bay, I guess, because you'd have to dock to like a huge neck section. Usually these things are roughly the size of a door, you know, because that's what you need. But I feel like that would be hard to get a good seal around. But hey, I mean, Klingon ships do have those long necks. And then yeah, just generally kind of sort of supported, defended, that's the word, protected walkways into your core little central bit, which, I don't know, it's maybe the most Star Wars thing that's clearly not Star Wars I've ever seen, because it's got that very gritty realism, just kind of a lot of the way the details are there. It's very greebly, you know, Star Trek usually isn't very greebly, where Star Wars does definitely do its greeblies. And just some of these shapes kind of remind me of the droids, Bespin-y, but, like, it's very clearly not Star Wars to me. Like, ignoring the Klingon logos all over the thing. Like, I don't know, it's got almost that garbage scow, garbage station kind of thing, kind of vibe that you tend to get more in Star Wars, at least I think, than Star Trek, which is more, utopian and clean. But anyway, yeah, you just got kind of weird not corrugated, but this stuff up here is corrugated, but weird little vents going along the station. And generally, that's Tycho Core, just the little detailing and vents. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of detailing, but there's not a lot that really sets it apart besides its general shape. You've got these little Bespin-y antenna sort of things. Again, just weird little bunch of turrets, divots, things that stick out. I'll say, especially for Klingons, whose weaponry tends to look like weaponry, like guns and stuff, sort of X-Wing style. What I guess we are talking about Star Wars in this video. This still didn't look like a very defended station for the Klingons, as like a military outpost, which I'm assuming it was. Hang on, I bet that magazine I didn't have time to read is gonna say. I'm not saying it's skimming, but actually it has a great picture to showcase of the studio model why, like, the differences. That just feels a bit more busy. That actually has nothing underneath. Maybe it was added in post or later, because I feel like there definitely was something underneath. There's no back arm on his station. Yeah, it's... there's some differences, but by and large, it is the same thing. But no, I suspect the reason this was voted for so highly is it was a pretty recent Eaglemoss model that I suspect many people didn't jump on, which means that they now don't have a chance to get it. I didn't even jump on it. It was the order of the last 40 I ever made that never got delivered. It never got fulfilled. It was like the day before they closed down. And even though I had an order from the day after they got fulfilled, yes, I have some gaps in my collection now. And most of the money I spent was from that last 40. So I rebought this off Amazon for a bit more expensive. But I think people are just kind of curious what it is, as it's one of those kind of I missed out on this Eaglemoss models. And there's the dog running into the camera again. Well, I don't know. This was probably a pretty quick video, but yeah. This is one of the problems with letting you vote, is sometimes it's like, I don't know. That's kind of it. This is Tycho Core Station. You can look at it, you can admire it, you can not really fit it on one frame. There we go. But yeah, it's a gray metal station with some interesting detailing. But you've seen a picture of it, you've seen Tycho Core, which I suppose is pretty good for a model that many people aren't going to get. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed. A bit of a brief one. Next video, we can do some more just polls. I don't usually put ships that I don't really have much to say about on the polls, but this one was new. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time as I assault the Klingons.